Hello, hello, Taryn. How's it going?
Good.
Welcome back to another Cozy Conversations with Taryn and Sarah.
Woo.
We decided we would say your name first because
Yes,
this flowed better.
I remember
Um,
that.
but yeah, I'm excited for another cozy conversation. I was actually talking with a coworker this past week about us starting this podcast, and he asked me what we're going to be calling our podcast, and I said Cozy Conversations, and he kind of laughed, and I was like, "You think it's dumb, don't you?" And he said, "No, no, no. I just want to curl up in a blanket with some hot chocolate and listen to your conversation." So, and I
That's what
laughed
we're
because
going for.
exactly that's definitely what we're trying to do here with this podcast. So, yeah, podcast episode number 2. We kind of just figured we would just do like a, chill conversation.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
starting with the chill conversation, we're going to go straight into the Alex Murdaugh trial. Um, if anybody, so we're releasing this, it's probably going to be like towards the end of April, but we're actually
Mhm.
recording this just a couple days after Alex Murdaugh's or
Verdict.
Murdoch. I've heard both ways. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh,
Murdaugh or Murdoch.
it looks
Either way,
Murdaugh, but yeah.
he's in jail where he belongs because the jury did find him guilty.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Sarah, I was actually looking forward to talking about this because I normally follow the current trials a lot more closely than I have this one. I know like the basic details of the case, which to
Mm-hmm.
me, just based on what I know,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like,
Yeah.
he looked very guilty. But
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you to kind of give the rundown of the case because I was looking forward to hearing more.
Are you letting me become a true crime podcaster right
I
now, Taryn?
am. You can have your moment right now.
Well, essentially, so the Murdaugh family, I don't know all the details, just kind of the vague information that like it's like a dynasty. This whole family of like attorneys in South Carolina. And this guy, Alex Murdaugh, was stealing money from his clients. So that's one of the many things that he was doing. But essentially his wife and son were murdered on their family property back in 2021. So almost 2 years ago. His wife and his son were murdered on their family property in South Carolina. And really, like, the big thing is he has lied so much with his original like statement that
Oh,
he had said he was at his mother's house during that window time frame of the murders, when in reality he did testify during his own trial, and he did say, yeah, I did lie about that.
wow.
So
It's not a good way to start things off if
no,
you're
not at all. Well, even if you just watch like the body cam footage that they released, when the police officers first came to the scene of the crime,
uh-huh.
it shows him like distraught, obviously, as one should be. And then all of a sudden, another police officer walks up to him, and his demeanor completely changes, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
That's so
I'm like,
weird.
"Why would you ask someone how they're doing?" Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know for sure if he actually was the one that like pulled the trigger. I feel like maybe he did hire someone to do that, but I definitely do
Yeah.
think in some aspect he's guilty. But
That's such another angle that you normally don't think about is like someone hiring like a hitman?
well,
Like that's never the
Alex,
top of my mind.
I know, right? Alex, he even hired someone to kill him a while back ago, but I guess that just didn't happen.
Apparently not. But
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy.
So it's just interesting. Even like the one fact that was interesting to me too is the very like courtroom that they were in. The judge who was presiding over that trial, Alex Murdaugh's trial, had to order them to remove a photograph or portrait of one of Alex Murdaugh's family members whose picture was in the courtroom. So that just kind of
Wow.
points to that whole scenario there of like this family dynasty,
That is
Southern
crazy.
dynasty thing.
Yeah.
But
That's so crazy.
mm-hmm.
Especially
Yeah,
because like so many times like I don't know, a lot of us like we just know like our grandparents, maybe great grandparents. And like before that, it's like a little bit murky. It's just
Mm-hmm.
crazy to me that how this family has just like this huge dynasty and they're so like integrated into like the culture there and stuff. And then obviously they carry with them a lot of drama too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's
Yep.
crazy. Well, so sad about his wife and his
Yes.
son.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But
Mhm.
wow. So that was definitely an interesting highlight of this week.
Yeah, I was watching the sentencing on Friday when they actually
Oh, okay.
sentenced him to consecutive life sentences. And it just always makes me think too, like, uh, as Christians of our own judgment day, when
Mm-hmm.
we're standing before God and
Yeah.
we are guilty, but to think that as long as we believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, Jesus is going to take that place for us, or he took that place for us essentially. So it's
Yes.
just some, it always reminds me whenever I watch, like, I even had an experience back in December where I was a member of a jury, which was the coolest thing ever. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. And it's so cool to like be a part of that experience and like watch that. But it just reminded me of our own judgment day too. And like, because I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, then he took he sacrificed himself for me. It's just like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
saw my parents about that the other day. So
That's so good, Sarah. It actually reminds me of a song. I believe it was by originally, I think it's by Mandisa. We might link it below for everyone listening, but it's one of my favorite songs. It's called
yeah.
Not Guilty, and it talks about that.
Mm.
The music is an orchestration is beautiful, but it talks about just that day when we'll stand before the Lord, and like for those of us who are covered by the blood of Jesus, the
Mm-hmm.
verdict for us is not guilty because
Right.
of him. And it's just a
Yeah.
beautiful song about.
I don't think I've heard that song
Oh,
before.
it's one of my favorites. We will
Listen to it.
definitely link it below. I'll have to send it
Yeah.
to you later, but it
Yeah.
made me think about that. Great takeaway, Sari.
Either way, he's going to jail. He is in prison, so
Yes.
unfortunately,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But
So that is some true crime.
true crime segment over for the week and probably for a while now until
Yeah.
something else pops up.
Yeah. But moving on to, as you listening, you know that we like true crime, follow true crime, also fictional crime. So
The fake stuff.
yeah. Sarah, have you been reading any good books recently?
Oh, yeah, great question.
Or if you haven't been reading, because we want to keep it real on this podcast, and
Yeah.
every week we don't always have time to pick up a new book and read it.
No.
But is there one that you would like to highlight?
Oh, so I was sick this past week. And I actually picked up a book by an author that I wasn't familiar with. Her name is Christina Suzanne Nelson.
That's a great name.
Yeah, it is a good name. And the book title is called What Happens Next. And they say you're not supposed to judge a book by a cover, but I judged this book by its cover because I loved it so much and it made me pick it up. Essentially, it's about a podcaster who focuses on like the hope after like tragic stories in her podcast. Who her childhood best friend went missing back when they were kids, but she didn't realize it until like now. She didn't know about it because it was like just a short-term like summer friendship type thing. And so now the sister of the girl that went missing wants her to like help see what happened to her sister. So
Wow.
it's pretty good so far. So I have been reading that. It's a Christian fiction book, so it's published by Bethany House. Other than that, I'm also reading. I've been saying now for like 3 years that I want to reread the Chronicles of Narnia.
Ah, yes.
So I'm reading The Horse and His Boy,
Nice.
which it's pretty good so far. Just a cute like little kid's story.
Yeah.
What about you, Taryn? What are you reading?
I finished my book that I talked about on the last podcast. It was
Nice.
really good. And then I kind of took a break from the crime fiction for a minute. And I think I mentioned last time we had some snow here in the Midwest. Right. And so it was snowing outside, and my mom got this Christian fiction, like kind of it's a mystery. It's like a romance mystery suspense. It's called Snowed
Ooh.
In at Silver Mountain. So it's about this girl who's a park ranger,
Oh.
and this giant snowstorm comes, and she gets snowed in with this ex-convict. So,
No.
yes.
I was expecting you to say something completely different. Like, I don't know what I was expecting you to say, but it certainly was an ex-convict.
Yes. So he's
Interesting.
just gotten released from prison, and there's these missing heirlooms involved, and these people are after her, and he ends up trying to he found the Lord in prison, and so has changed his life, but he's trying to protect her from these guys who are after them. And there's
That sounds so cool.
it has been a really good book so far. And of course, there's a focus on just the romance, but it's nice because it's a Christian book, so it's very
Yeah.
clean. And there's avalanches and
Ooh.
snowstorms and everything. So it's been really enjoyable to me. Almost we're almost done with the time when I can read these books about being
All
snowed
right.
in. It's starting to get
Yeah.
nice out, but that is
You
what I've been
mentioned
reading.
like missing heirlooms.
Yes.
That's
Uh-huh.
interesting.
There's some jewelry that she thinks that was given to her, and she thinks it's fake. Turns
Oh.
out it is not fake. It is extremely valuable. And so a bunch of bad guys know about that, but she doesn't. So they're
They're
chasing
like
her, and
they're
yeah.
chasing her. Ooh.
Uh-huh, trying to
Giving me
get
Outer
the
Banks vibes.
yeah, there you go. So, yeah, that is what
Cool.
I've been reading most recently.
So tell me about this banana bread.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
So
just so curious.
last last weekend I um wanted to try a new recipe. I'm currently not eating any sugar for some different health reasons. And so I've been looking, but I love sweets. I have a huge sweet tooth.
Mhm.
Sarah knows this well. I so I've been looking for recipes that are super healthy that use other forms of sweetener. And so I tried this banana bread, and it was probably the best banana bread I've ever eaten.
Mm.
It was bananas, and the sweetener was maple syrup,
Okay.
and it had like coconut flour, and just it was very simple. I don't like complicated recipes.
Yeah.
It stresses me out when there's a million ingredients, most of which
Mhm.
I don't actually have in the house. So
Yeah.
anything that's like 10 ingredients or less, I am interested in. So it turned out really, really well. So we will link it. I think we can link
Exciting.
on
Yeah.
below the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will link the recipe below that I use just in case anybody else wants to try it.
Nice.
But
We could share it on our little Instagram too.
yeah, that's a great idea. We'll do that too.
That's exciting.
Yes, it was really, really good.
That
So
sounds good.
anxious to try something where I love making stuff with bananas because, it's nice because I don't know if you sometimes I buy bananas with this idea that I'm going to eat them all
Oh,
before they
yeah.
turn bad, but
Yeah.
but then they get bad. And so
Mhm.
I love these type of recipes because you can use them when they're like completely brown and all bruised up.
Yeah,
And
there's a
that's the way
meme.
it
I don't know if I sent you the meme or not,
goes.
but it's like these bananas talking, and there's like one that's gone brown, and they're like, yeah, they're saving him for something called banana bread.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh.
It's funny.
But that sounds
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been making anything too extravagant here lately. My roommate got me a like trial of HelloFresh boxes. So
So
that's been kind of
exciting.
nice because everything comes like packaged. So I just put it
Wow.
in a pot or whatever and just make it, which is
Yes.
makes it a lot easier. Um, but I have I made I don't know why whenever I work in an office around Valentine's Day, I always make like Rice Krispie treats
Yes. So
because they're
cute.
easy to do. And yeah, so I made some for Valentine's Day last month for my office. But I had like the leftover like Rice Krispies, like the cereal,
Yes.
and the marshmallows. And so this weekend I was like, I just want something sweet. So I literally just got a little bit of butter, the rest of the marshmallows, stuck them in the microwave for like 15, 20, 25 seconds, mixed it all up so it melted, and then just dumped the Rice Krispie cereal in it. And then I just got his food and just was sitting there eating it.
That's such a
So
great idea.
that's a quick and easy and relatively inexpensive sweet
Yeah,
to make
dessert. I love
for
that.
those who are listening who want a sweet treat.
Yes. I feel
Yeah,
like that's so good.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, just, being single, it's like sometimes you don't want to make an entire pan of brownies for
Oh
yourself for
yeah.
the like sometimes or it's so
Hmm.
nice to have that like really simple like oh this is easy it's like one serving when I want something sweet but I don't have to take care of the leftovers and try to
Yeah.
eat them all or whatever. So I
Yeah,
love that.
well, try to eat them all.
Try not or
You know we would.
yeah.
Don't need a man to tell me what to
Yeah.
make brownies.
Not wrong there.
Honestly, I
Gotcha.
don't really have many sweets like in the house. I
Yeah.
know Friday night I was talking with my mom and I was like, I just want something sweet. This was
Mm.
before I realized I had the little ingredients for Rice Krispie treats. And she
Yes.
was like, okay, well, do you have chocolate chips? I'm like, no. She was, well, do you have sugar? I'm like, no. Do you have flour? No. I was like telling her like I buy for like what I need,
Yeah,
like in
that makes
terms of like
sense.
recipes or whatever.
Right.
When like I go to my parents' house and everything to like make a cake is like right there.
Right.
You
They
know,
keep,
I don't
yeah.
have like I don't keep flour in random plastic containers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
it's just the season of life that we're in, but
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
But
Because
that's
I think,
exciting.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So,
What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
oh, no, I was just gonna say, I don't know if anybody else struggles with this, but when it's just one person, it is so
Mhm.
hard to like eat everything before it goes bad if you buy a lot of stuff.
Like
Like, and then you're
vegetables,
like,
the worst.
yeah, that is a struggle. Every time I
Yeah.
buy vegetables, they're just like, they go bad before
Yeah.
I can eat them all. And I'm just like, wow, I'm throwing money into the trash can.
Yeah. Which is one reason that I like HelloFresh because
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you need one tomato and it literally comes with just one tomato.
that is
So I don't
nice.
have to buy like 25 million tomatoes. So I guess they
Yeah,
sell them individually too, but it's just kind of nice. It's,
yeah. But like other stuff, they don't. Like
yeah.
you have to buy like a whole thing of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have to keep us posted on how you're liking your HelloFresh.
I will. Yeah, I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep it. Just because like I had the one week where I was sick where I ended up making like a huge crock pot. Oh, this is a recipe I can talk about.
Oh,
Of chicken soup. To me,
yes.
chicken soup is like gotta be like complicated and it's gotta take like 24 hours
Yeah.
to 2 hours to kill the chicken and get the potatoes from the garden.
Pull the
No,
feathers out.
exactly. Yeah, I have a story on that too. When I was living in Guatemala, I'll share this story real quick and then I'll go into Tara knows where this is going. When I was living in Guatemala, I was living with a family from Guatemala, and I remember they had chickens running everywhere, which is normal, you know. Um, and my host mom was holding a chicken like in the kitchen. And I went to take a shower, and Taryn, I came back from my shower. The chicken was dead, and she had plucked all of its feathers off. And I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not vegan or anything.
Yes.
I eat meat. I believe that God tells us to eat meat.
Yeah, right.
But I had a hard time eating that chicken soup the next day just because I saw that chicken in the kitchen alive 24 hours before.
Yeah.
So anyways, back to my chicken soup recipe. My mom was like, okay, just get your crock pot out, get a thing of like drumsticks, put those in. Kroger sells like um frozen packages of like soup vegetables for soup.
Mm,
Mine
yeah.
had like potatoes, peas, carrots, onion, okra, a few other things too.
Yeah.
Put one of those in there, then put like a couple cups of orange juice and chicken broth, and then just like some seasonings, like salt, pepper. Put that in the crock pot on low for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then the chicken just fell off, like the meat fell off the bone. So you just collect all the bones, and it was really good.
Yeah, it sounds delicious.
And I had like maybe 3 or 4 meals from it.
Yeah.
I was just eating it in the office one day. So yeah, it's easy to make, a lot easier than I thought it would be to make. So I can always like include that recipe too in the
Yeah.
description of the show. But yeah, that's chicken soup moral of the story, chicken soup doesn't have to be difficult.
I love that. Very, very encouraging.
Yeah.
Um I see next we wanted to talk about what shows or movies we've been watching lately.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have anything that you've been watching? Or if you don't have one you've been watching, one that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah. So Outer Banks season 3, I think we talked about this last podcast. Season 3 was released. I don't really like the way that Netflix just releases the whole season. And also didn't help that I was sick that weekend, so all I
Yeah.
did was watch Outer Banks. But I thought it was really good. I felt like it. I don't want to give any spoilers. I felt like it was really good. So if for fans of the show, definitely check it out. If you're not a fan of the show, definitely check it out. If it's definitely like the National Treasure adventure vibe, mystery
Nice.
that it has. So been watching that. I also started watching the show called Once Upon a Time.
Oh, I've been wanting to watch that.
It's really good. I didn't know. I knew about it because one of my close friends is super into it, or was super into it. And so I had never watched it, but I was sick and I needed something to watch. And it's really good. It's like where all the characters from the fairy tales are real. And they like live, there's like they're cursed and they live in this community in like
Oh,
our day and age.
okay.
And they don't know that they're like characters from fairy tales, except this like
Gotcha.
child like does, but everyone thinks he's crazy. So that's kind of the gist of the story for the most part. But it's been good. I watched one episode of Manifest yesterday.
That show is intense.
From you. Yeah. I was like, this is a lot.
So
But it was
much.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
It
about you, Taryn? What have you? Because you've
I
watched Manifest, haven't you?
I watched not the whole show. I watched like I think the first season
Okay.
completely, maybe a little bit of the second season. I watched it with roommates a couple summers ago. It's a crazy show. I just never
Yeah.
quite knew what was happening, but it's very
Fun.
sci-fi and like
Yeah.
as it goes on and
Kind
like
of. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
yeah, it's crazy. It definitely I enjoyed I don't normally like things that are like super like I don't know, crazy and scary and stuff, but that one was it's not super scary, but it was I just enjoyed how I never knew what was going to happen. It was like plot twist after plot twist in the whole show. So
Hmm.
it keeps you on your toes for sure. But
It's definitely one that's like because it keeps you on your toes. So I feel like I have to be in like a certain mood to watch
yeah,
those.
yes, same. I normally tend toward like comedy or like some sort of crime, you know,
Oh
centered
yeah.
around some sort of crime or something. So yeah, that's definitely out there for me, but I did
Yeah.
enjoy watching
That's cool. For
the
the
episodes I watched.
kind of just a summary of like the first episode, sort of. Essentially, these people get on a plane and they don't realize that like 5.5 years have like passed.
Yeah.
Um, which is just crazy to think about.
Yeah. And they haven't aged at all
Right.
either. It's just
Yeah.
like they time stood still for them for the 5 years. Everyone else thought they were dead. And then they show up
And
and
they
they
just
don't
show
feel
up.
like anything's happened. Like they just land the plane and
Yeah.
they feel like it's just been like the 3 hours since they took off or whatever.
Yeah.
Turns out it's been
Which
5 years.
is crazy because I do fly a lot, at least twice
Yeah.
a year. And I was like, that'd be so weird
Yeah.
to for that to happen. I mean, not that it would, but just thinking
Yeah.
about it.
I watched the episode the first time like right before I flew home
Mm.
and it was like a week before or something. I was like it was a little creepy.
A fun fact too, the guy that plays the brother,
Uh-huh.
he plays Prince Charming on Once Upon a Time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I was like watching it and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. Wow.
Fun fact.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Any
I
movies you watched lately?
we watched one last night from Great American Family channel
Nice.
or
Nice.
whatever. It was good. It was kind of funny, very chill. The guy was made me laugh. He was funny. Definitely didn't have good chemistry between the two
Oh.
main people. So
Do you know who the main people were?
I don't. I had never seen them before in anything.
Okay. Hmm.
So
One if
yeah,
they were one of the Hallmark rejects or not, but
yeah, I
not
don't know.
rejects.
Yeah. They were I hadn't seen them before, so
Okay.
yeah. Other than that, I've been watching Psych, one of my favorite TV shows ever. Sarah
Yes.
introduced me to Psych many
You're
years ago.
welcome.
Thank you. Turned out to be one of my favorite shows. I definitely watch it um pretty frequently, and it's a very funny show, so
It's so funny.
it's hilarious.
I have this sticker in my water
Oh,
bottle.
I love it. I want one.
And it just shows for our listeners, it just shows the two main characters and it says psych. So I meet with students for my job. And I was talking with a student and I said, "Do you have any other questions?" And he's like, "You like psych, what's your favorite episode?" And I like told him my favorite episode, so I thought that was fun. But
That is fun. Yeah,
I
I like
remember
that.
watching that when we were living together
Yes.
in our dorm.
Yeah. That was
That was
fun.
fun
It's a
time.
great show.
Yeah.
There's definitely I would just all of the shows, Sarah and I
Yeah.
understand that everybody has different just convictions and things they're
Right.
comfortable watching.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely, you know, uh recommend that you look up the show, or Plugged In is a
Yes.
great way to look and see
Hmm.
what movies and shows have in them, or even just sometimes, places you want to fast forward or
Right.
anything. I know a lot of times Sarah and I do that. If something gets where we're uncomfortable, we'll just fast
Hmm.
forward. So we definitely want to say that,
Disclaimer. Yeah,
disclaimer.
one Plugged In is good. It's a good website for that. Sometimes even just on IMDb, I just look
Yeah.
up the parental guidance
Yes.
section because that'll tell
Mhm.
you like flat out like what it is.
Yeah, and what it has
Not
in it.
flat out, but like,
Right.
it'll just kind of list it there, which is helpful.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I haven't watched any movies lately. I'm definitely not less of a movie watcher, I think.
I've
Just
become a lot
because,
less of a movie
yeah,
watcher as I've gotten older. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. Just because like I sit down to eat dinner and I want to watch a show, so I want it to be like short.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't think of anything else that I've been watching lately.
Yeah. I feel like we covered what, 5 or 6 shows there. So
We did, yeah.
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 So Sarah, is there something that the Lord has been teaching you this week that you want to share?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I just, have had some situations come up this week where I have felt, I guess, just like some sort of form of jealousy. And Taryn knows like
We've
all
all
of the
been there.
details. Yeah. I'm not gonna get into what the specifics of the situation are, but it's just funny how like when I'm going through something, how like the Lord will speak to me on that.
Yeah.
So it was just a couple situations, that have come up in my personal life. But I know that like one at work we have daily meetings called huddles, and we each share like a devotional of like the day or whatever. And one day this week, one of my coworkers shared on like jealousy and how like when we are jealous, we need to be like focus on an attitude of gratitude. That
I
rhymes.
love that. Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt. No.
Yeah.
It probably is. Visit your local Martell. Okay.
We sang a song in children's choir called Attitude of Gratitude when I was
Yes.
younger.
Yeah.
Not linking that song below.
No, you need to link a YouTube video of you singing it for us. So it's funny how like she started sharing, like she just read like a daily devotional from like David Jeremiah, I think it was, and it just happened to be talking about like, you need to put your heart in a posture of like thanksgiving. So I like really was thinking about that this past week. So of course I was listening to the song Gratitude by Brandon Lake, which is a good one. And then it's funny how like whenever I feel like the Lord's teaching me something, it'll like come up repeatedly.
Yes.
And a lot of times he'll use social media for that too.
Yeah.
So I was just on Instagram at work one day, and one of the authors I follow, she shared this whole post on like gratitude and everything. So I was like, okay, Lord, I hear you. So just working on that, and really like it's not something that's like, okay, I'm gonna have a heart of gratitude. Let's do it. Let's go. And then
Yeah.
suddenly you're always thankful for everything. But
Yeah.
it's literally something where like each moment, like I had, a situation that happened that made me jealous and made me upset. And then I had like the Lord teaching me about gratitude. And then I had another situation that happened that like made me jealous and upset. And was my first call to action gratitude? No, Taryn will tell you my first call to action was texting her upset about what was going on. So it's just like something that, something that I have been thinking about and working through that the Lord's been teaching me. But what about you, Taryn?
Yeah, I there was a verse that really stuck out to me. I've been reading in the Psalms recently. There's just been some tough stuff going on in my life and been going through kind of a difficult time. So the Psalms is a great place to
Mhm.
hang out when you're dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
So I was specifically reading in Psalm 106, and it starts out talking about praising the Lord for he's good, and it talks
Mhm.
about his mighty deeds, and then it goes into in verse 6 through like 12, it talks about like the Israelites and what the Lord had done for them and bringing them out of Egypt, and
Yeah.
like kind of that whole theme. um and it specifically talks about how the Israelites kept like rebelling
Mhm.
repeatedly, and
Yeah.
like just, and then it gets to verse 13 and it says, they quickly forgot his works, they did not wait for his counsel. And that just really stuck out to me, because it's like, how quickly do I forget what he's done for me? Like
Yeah.
so quickly.
Mhm.
And how often do I want to move ahead without waiting for his counsel? Like I just
Yeah.
want to take care of things on my own,
Yeah.
or and we do that as humans. Like we're so forgetful about
Mhm.
the things he's done for us. And
Yeah.
when we're going through a hard time, like it's important that we just look back at like how he's taken care of us up until this point, and
Yeah.
everything that he's done, like through scripture, everything he's done in my life, and just realizing like, we don't want to forget that. We want to
Right.
constantly remind ourselves of that. And the Psalms does that well. It constantly, the psalmists are reminding us of what the Lord has done. And they're saying, look back at at his works, how he brought you out of Egypt, to the
Mhm.
Israelites and stuff. So that just really stood out to me this week. I just loved how that verse
Yeah.
put it into words.
That's awesome. Yeah. I like that a
Yeah.
lot. It's something that I have to remember too, just with my personal situation that's going on. It's like, look how God has brought you through. So
Yes.
why would you doubt him when you know
Yeah.
that he is faithful? So
Right.
I love
Amen.
that. Yeah.
So good.
So let's close it off with our little cozy cue. I don't know if we're gonna call it that or not, but um at the time of this recording, it's March, but this is probably being released in April. So what is something that you are wanting to do now that it's getting a little bit warmer outside, Taryn?
Okay. So I think two things.
Mhm.
One, I want to go for more walks outside. I
Yeah.
love getting out and just like taking a walk around the neighborhood. I want to do that. And the other thing is, my family, ever since, you know, um we were little, we would just like get in and go for drives, and
Mm,
drive around when it got nice out, sometimes stop for ice cream.
that's
um
fun.
so definitely looking forward to, and it's a lot more fun to go for drives when it's sunny and nice outside. So
Yeah,
yeah, those are two things I'm really looking forward to.
that's awesome.
What about you, Sarah?
Yeah, for me, we have in Lynchburg, it's called the Blackwater Creek Trail
Yes.
that stretches, it's about like 3 miles long, I think. At least the one portion that I've done before that goes
Uh-huh.
from like one section to like downtown. Um, I've done that with friends a number of times where we walk 3 miles and then 3 miles back, so a total of 6 miles.
Yes.
So now that it's starting to get a little warmer, that sounds fun to me right now. Besides that, I know Lynchburg, like this area has really great hikes
Yes.
that would be fun to do. And I know in June I should be going home to
Yes.
California for a week, and my parents and I are talking about going camping.
That would be so fun. Oh
I
my
love
goodness.
camping. I love reading outside, camping.
Yes.
I think we might be going to Yosemite too. So
It's exciting.
I'm really hoping that happens. So we'll see. But
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. So we hope that everyone else is looking forward to the warmer weather too
yes.
and being able to get outside in the sunshine.
Let us know what you're wanting to do now that it's getting warmer too, because we want to hear from you. So
Yes,
if you're out
definitely.
there, mom.
Our two fans, your mom and my mom.
Yeah.
Oh, no, hopefully we'll have more than that. But
Yeah, we'll see. Our dads.
yeah.
4.
Yeah, all four of our parents.
Mm.
Oh,
This has
well,
been fun.
yes, it has been. I think that wraps it up for
I think that
today.
does. Yeah. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Yes, and everybody stay cozy.
Stay cozy.